Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for being here. Small crowd, but hopefully a mighty crowd that gives us great input. My name is Rick Hendricks. I'm with Integra Landscape Architecture. The city has retained us to help develop the drawings and concepts for Sunflower Park. So today we're going to walk through it. This is kind of the first meeting to get clarity on what was done in 2019. So that's what we want your input on, your feedback on. So before we get into it, though, a couple housekeeping things. Restrooms, men's rooms on this side, women's on that side. And then if you're thirsty, there is a drinking fountain on the side over here as well. Olga Metz, who works with me at Integra, has passed out also a survey that you guys can fill out as we go through the slideshow to give your feedback to us. But we're also open to comments at any time. We'll address those as they come up. The other thing is we have Ashley, Recreation Manager, Damian Obid, the City Manager here from the City of Cotati. And then we have a few folks on Zoom with us. So there's going to be a kind of interaction that they'll be able to ask questions as well. So if any question comes up, whether it's Zoom or you guys, Ashley's going to repeat the question before we answer it, just so Zoom and all you guys know what the question is, because the questions that they submit maybe text or it can be verbal kind of at the end. So, okay. So it's kind of the game plan for today. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So just a little bit of background. How did we get here? So the plan you see there up on the wall and what was on the first slide was from the 2019 Parks Capital Improvement Plan that came out. That was put together through, again, community workshops just like this. There was 3 community workshops. This was an overall city plan, so it looked at all the parks within Cotati, not just Sunflower. So with additional funding that has come up through Measure S and Prop 68 and Measure M, I think, for this park, is that the city is able to actually implement some of these capital improvement projects within the park. So what we'll do is kind of look at what was said back in 2019. Obviously, we're in 2023 going into 2024. We just want to make sure that we're still going in the right direction, or if there's been changes since that time, you know, what could be implemented within that. So, okay. So back in 2019, these were kind of the conclusions, the most important things that kind of came out of the meeting. So more benches, picnic tables, play structure, create a circulation pathway, bike racks, additional lighting, trash recycling receptacles, formal meditation garden, and update the landscape that was out there. So this is what presented to us to be able to come up with a really preliminary concept plan. So next slide. Which is up on the wall and it was part of the slideshow. You know, the 2 main features of this that came out of it was the play structure and the meditation area in the northeast corner. So some other things though on that we're looking at doing as well that aren't necessarily, you know, new design elements or anything that within the park is repairing the tennis and pickleball court. We've gone out there and inventoried it not only back in 2019, but very recently too. And there's cracks and things within the court that we hope to, you know, repair and do that. Some of the other elements that came out of 2019 were things that we'll implement like bike racks, trash receptacles. These are all city standards that'll be upgraded when we do the redesign of the park. So, the kind of the objective or goal for today is to kind of look at the play area and that northeast corner and really get an idea if what was done in 2019 is still valid, or is there additional amenities or needs that the community is looking for. So again, the areas that we're going to focus on, adding the play structure, what kind of play structure. The northeast corner is still meditation kind of garden what we're looking at, or is there something else that can be done there? Some of the basics that will be included within our design, though, is just ADA accessibility. So whatever we put in does need to be accessible. So we'll make sure with our construction documents that they are accessible. The other thing we're looking at is new lighting. So the existing lighting out there, I think is okay, but it's a little bit dated. So we'll look to new lighting, obviously LEDs, the new thing, so it's more energy efficient and things like that. And then updating the landscape and the potential of maybe regrading the lawn area. If you guys are familiar, which I assume you are, the DI that's in the turf area is low. I'm short. I remember going out there with Ashley, and I think she could just see my head when I was standing down in the DI. So it is fairly depressed in there. So but we do want to get your input. If you're using the turf areas, is it still functional? If it's fine the way it is, maybe we don't do that. But if you feel like maybe raising it up and that area being a little bit more usable, then that's a possibility. So, okay. So again, this was the 2019 master plan. So obviously kind of the predominant things are the existing parking lot on the east side, the restroom kind of next to that, the big lawn area in the middle, and the existing tennis court, pickleball courts. The new items are kind of the circular area just north of the restroom, which is where we're proposing the new play area. And then the northeast corner, which is north of the tennis courts, which in 2019 was the meditation area. Again, those are the two main focused areas besides updating the landscape. So I think just jumping right into it is the play area. Again, this came out in 2019. That was a need or an amenity that the community wanted in the area. So what we kind of want to get from you guys is feedback on what type of play area. So we have some images of just inspirational kind of images or informational images of the different types. So there is more of a themed area. So, the play equipment would be a themed, we're showing dinosaurs or trains, and we'll get into that actually in a couple slides after that, or more traditional platform and post, which is item B. Net play has become more popular as well. So that's a possibility. And then I think, fitness and parkour is another element that's become more popular as well. So the handouts that Olga has passed out to the people here, you guys can fill those out of that. We can have discussion too, if you would like to. Online, you guys should be able to, in the chat, just put down A, B, C, D for your choices or any other comments. So next slide. So again, the play equipment, what we're looking for is feedback from you guys on whether you kind of like the themed idea, traditional, net play, fitness, parkour, or something else that we don't have on there. So At this point, kind of would, open it up to discussion, or, more than welcome to just write down on your survey which one you prefer. So, or if there's any other general questions, more than willing to answer those as well. So. Do you want to maybe go back to the last slide, Ashley, just so they can kind of see? So is there any questions on the kind of the type of those different ones, or any feeling of,
One question I might have is, when you say theme, to mention possibly. What sort of themes are we?
Yeah, this is going to be on the next one, but there's some themes that kind of tie into the area and or name. So again, one of them is maybe the train, because the smart train's not too far away. Another one I believe that we have is like educational, because Sonoma State University. The other one is the park's called Sunflower Park. Do we do something more garden-esque? And it's in the play equipment. The uses in general, besides maybe going to like a net play or a parkour, would kind of be the same between themed and maybe traditional. Like we still have slides, climbing, things like that. But the big thing with the theme is that it has a theme to it, instead of just maybe a standard. If any of you guys have been out to the new Cotati Park, that's a traditional post and platform type thing. It's not necessarily themed. It does have a color palette and stuff like that, but it's not like a train dinosaur or anything like that. So. Yeah. So if you guys can fill that out, are you getting responses too? No? Okay. It'd be really great if everybody could kind of give us some feedback on it. So the next one here is kind of getting into what the question was. If, the majority kind of like the themed idea, what would it be? So again, here, our thoughts initially are, the train, because of the smart train and the station. There's a long history I was just looking at the images out on the wall. I think like 1907, the train station was there. So it's trying to tie it back into the community in that sense. The other ones are, again, the educational, which is Sonoma State. Well, not necessarily in Cotati, close enough, kind of thing. And we're not talking, that it's, the university, but it's more educational. It kind of plays off of that type of thing. And then the other one is the garden, which again, Sunflower Park. So although those aren't sunflowers, it's garden-esque in that sense, kind of thing. So again, any feedback? If again, it was a themed park, do you guys have a preference on which type of theme that it would be? I should let you guys know too, there is a online survey out. Okay, so we're small but mighty, but we also are getting additional input for people that can attend the meeting. So we've already got some feedback from that, and hopefully we'll get more.
To the extent that we can research the community, like things like that, right? And these like, there's grass and it feels like a lot like nature.
Did you get that, Ashley?
Yeah.
You're gonna repeat it?
There was a comment that is asking to kind of preserve the greenery in the park, and mentioning on the play area that A, looks gray and kind of dull, and B, it looks more vibrant, and you can see the grass in the back and the colors are green, just to kind of keep it with a like natural looking play structure.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, one of the things is we do want to preserve some of that larger turf area. But again, in 2019, there was predominantly to add a play structure. It's not going to be like Katati Park. It will be much smaller. Again, the purple dot is kind of the area we're looking at. It may change based on what we can fit in there and put in there. So I think, the location and what's being preserved for the turf area still kind of works out to preserve that. As far as, it's good comments, and we'll take the note down to kind of keep it natural, whether there's the garden theme or even the post, the colors of the play equipment, predominantly just matching it into more a natural look kind of thing. So.
It might be confusing because this looks brown, but this is green lawn. It's gonna remain green lawn, so.
Yeah, and the picture actually too that we have, the last one is not very good too, because I think that's at winter time. So it's brown at the time, but yeah. Yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
Good.
I just want to say that I live right here, upstairs bedroom.
Okay, right by the that
I've
end.
been out of this park for 30 years. And I kind of see the whole feeling of what this park does. This is an incredibly important park in the area. The reason why is that we're surrounded by all kinds of apartment buildings. And a lot of people will come over to, a lot of times when the children will come and play ball with the family. I really like the lawn. I actually like that it's more natural feeling instead of just being a flat place. It invites people to come over and kind of relax and lie in the sun. It's kind of a very much of a meditative park. People play instruments, it's over to read, also gather and go and study. And the playground is really important because the parents come and play pickleball. It's nice that kids have a place that they can see. I think this is a phenomenal idea. Even though I love parkour, I think that the community needs more play structure for children because they're surrounded by all this space. And the pickleball part has been great. It's been used like nothing else. The sound of the bother most of us. Really glad you put up signs to keep dogs out of the thing. This looks phenomenal. I'll be curious to see. My main concern is the parking lot on the stadium. Is this parking lot is used for, unfortunately, overnight parking for people that are across the street. So it is taking up room for people who are playing during the day. If you close this off at night or say no overnight parking, we're going to keep it. But I don't want to see extended parking. And the lighting, I hope the lighting goes down or is shown in people's homes because we need lighting. That's this looks phenomenal. This looks really great.
Yeah, I think
I can't see it.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Constantly. The most important thing it needs to have is signs, because people come over and use a barbecue without a barbecue, and they dump their coals in the area behind their house and start fire. And that needs to be cleaned out for the other homeless, because we have new bathrooms, which are great, because the post office now uses it, UPS uses it. People that are homeless can come by and actually use it. They've been very kind. It hasn't been a problem. And it's a really important part.
Okay, maybe I can just highlight just for the Zoom people. I apologize. I'll try to just hit the high points, but what it sounds like to me, the comments are the 2019 design is acceptable, very nice. You like one of the things, no problem with the turf area being somewhat depressed. It provides additional skill levels and things, and it's not so much maybe as flat that would be used for more organized kind of things. It's more natural and open to play kind of things.
It's a
Yeah.
good note. Yeah, if it opens up to flat, then it opens up to people practicing soccer. And then if you start practicing and opening that up a flat place for kids to play soccer, which is great, we love that, but there's not enough park. So look to see what's gonna be, we're gonna make this flat, it's gonna turn into a soccer field. That's what happens, when the, other fields get rained out, they come and they practice there, which is lovely, but it's not, because we don't have the park. The parking is a problem. And it is because it is definitely overnight parking, at all, parks.
So- Yeah, signage.
Yeah.
And you also need signs that say no amplified music.
Okay, so, yeah, and again, a couple of the highlights, the play equipment is maybe a little bit preferred because of the apartments and the age group of the kids in the area over something like parkour. Parking is an issue in the area with overnight parking. And then lighting, if we're improving it, down lighting, which would be per the night ordinance and things like that. So, like,
We need more for light.
yeah,
There are some areas that are- Yeah, it's really dark, yeah. And you get a lot of, it's kind of weird, sketchy at night. You can't see
Sketchy.
any people bring their dogs late at night, and it's eating the bark. It's kind of a
okay.
little sketchy at night.
So lighting would help.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, we have lights by the walkway, but closer to the street, there's that big tree that's super dark.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Did you have a question?
Well, yeah, I have a question, but, jumping back with the parking, it's an issue already without being, things more attractive, it's already an issue. Because we have people parking on the side, Sunflower Drive, staff, and park on there, and we have our parking spots in the back.
Within the development?
For pickleball and tennis. So that's something we need to look at. Also, I'm not good with math, so I'm trying to figure stuff out here. So the play equipment would be here? No.
No.
Okay.
So here's where we drive in, here's our park.
Right.
There's the play equipment.
Oh.
So this is gonna be over here. This is supposed to be trees, but I'm a little bit concerned if these are trees, that's not a good idea. You want to keep a line of sight for parents who can see their kids playing.
This is the play equipment.
That's the play equipment, and this is meditation. This is a great one, because this is quiet. This is what this place is used for all the time. Play the guitar, sit quietly, lie in the sun, study, it's a quiet spot. Or they bring their dogs off the leash, but usually we're responsible. I don't.
Okay. Okay, now I have to move. Okay, so these are just some benches here. And then,
Yeah, picnic areas and
this
benches
here
and some
is-
trees. That's more the meditation area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what is it? What is it?
Maybe you can go to the, so a little bit, I mean, the meditation is kind of up in the upper right-hand corner. It's just, it's an area to be able to just relax, sit, a sitting area.
Right.
Potential area that, you could have informal yoga there. You talked about people coming with their musical.
Wouldn't have walls like that.
That's just a concept or an image. There potentially would be seating areas, whether it's a seat wall or a bench, that probably would be included. Yes.
What would be fun is in the circle that is we keep suckers, the huge thing sunflowers. You know, really simple, to take care of it, we can take care of it. I mean, that meditation part, is wonderful. Like, that's what that space is.
Okay. So, and I think some of the ideas for that northeast corner that we're showing here could be included too, even if it's a meditation or just, a seating area in the sense that, we had like community art exhibits. So again, informal that, somebody could, if they wanted to, they could have a kind of an art exhibit, or you could sit out there and paint in that area. As a meditation, I don't want to just paint it as sitting there quietly and things like that. It's more of a social space, quiet social space, yeah. So, we did throw out some other ideas though, and do want to get your feedback on those as well. So, some of them is like, expanding kind of grass area. Again, there might be a way to incorporate a little bit of grass out there. We're showing as a kind of a yoga area and image D there. The other potential is maybe like horseshoes or cornhole area.
No, without.
Okay, so these are the feedback that we do want to get from everybody. So, a picnic area, more of a picnic area with, tables, seating area and things like that.
No, I also think about my neighbors that are
So,
over there.
Yeah, and again, we're throwing these out there just to make sure that the community is still engaged in what was done in 2019. And it has not changed, or if there's, different opinions out there, we want to make sure that we capture that feedback. So if you can too, so the northeast corner on your sheet there should have those options. And you can put which one you prefer on those options.
Along the east side of the tennis courts, are those big benches? Concept. Is that just?
Yeah, just seating. I think it's more towards the entrance to the gate there, Damien.
Oh,
Yeah,
some benches.
yeah. Yeah, so if somebody's sitting waiting for, the next round of pickleball, they can sit there.
In regards to the area closer to after. This one, yeah, so I bring my daughter, if I live her there, it's safer because it's not by the street. And that compared to the other one area, and I see people also use that area because it's, the street is right there. So I'm a little concerned about limiting that space because it's kind of the only place part that's not right next to the. And so I'm in favor of the open area. You might like the yoga lawn or whatever you want to have it, but it feels like you'll be the only space where you throw something is going to be this space is closed.
The dogs can't be on off leash.
No, but I can have a long leash to throw on.
Now, are you talking about the meditation area?
Yeah.
Did you get that, Ashley?
I think it's fantastic. I'll be curious to see when you're talking about this area, this place is wasteland. right
Yeah, there's
now.
nothing there to.
There's war and it's just fluff and cut back stuff all the time. Is this gonna be done? Are you gonna like do some landscaping, more landscaping? There's a few trees there already that we planted. There's an old tree that came down, an old willow, and it's been there, some ivy grew up on it and turned it into a big lump. That probably should be taken out, but we planted a couple of new trees in there, so we've already got trees.
Okay.
In the sidewalk. This area.
So a couple questions, just so again, the Zoom people kind of know what we're talking about. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit to the first one. If I heard right, a little bit of the concern was that the northeast corner is a more safe area. So was I hearing right though? You were thinking that the play area might be better there, or no?
Absolutely. not.
Okay,
So what?
the play area, that's not what you're saying. You were-
I'm just saying that you're using one space here for the play area, which is wonderful. And then you're adding something else in here that's another structure, whereas that area is.
Got
the
it.
Open lawn is wonderful because it's safe and it's away from the.
Okay, so yeah, a little bit you're talking about is being able to have additional open grass area in that area as well. Okay. Okay, and then another question came up about just in general, the landscaping, the kind of perimeter landscaping, especially a little bit to the north. The idea is to probably take a lot of that out. It's aged. It's probably past its prime. the irrigation system in there is definitely probably dated as well. So, you know, as budget is available and what we can do there, that is something that we'll be looking at doing, is updating all the landscape within that
I
area.
love the landscape when you do the new Hyde Park. All low, it's beautifully all, aerospace.
Yeah. And it's a little bit too, like you were talking earlier, trying to keep sight lines available so
Yes.
you can see into the parks and things like that. So,
Yeah, that's one of the things we're not sure of, is where is the line of Sunflower and where's the city along there?
Our fence line is us.
Yeah, there's a fence, but how far past the fence is Sunflower?
None.
The fence is the line.
The fence is actually it.
That's the end.
yeah, the fence should
That's
be,
the end of the property for HOA.
Yes. We share a fence with our neighbors, and we do our fences, we have to do it with our city fence.
No, the distance.
You're
That
saying the
fence.
property lines.
yeah, that should be the property line to the, that should be the north property line, the fence line. And then the west should be, the west fence line on the left-hand side of that should be the property line.
I really appreciate the fact that you're taking into account the people at Sunflower, because this actually was our property. We sold the city because we were up with taking care of this park. So it's really nice that you're listening to understanding where you don't want a lot of drunk people at night, college students out there playing cornhole. It should be a place that should be quiet. And
Fantastic.
maintaining that family park.
Okay, yeah, and again, that's the feedback that we want to hear. Okay, that's really the only questions that we have on this. Let you guys know, though, the next steps that we'll be taking. Well, like I said, there is an online poll, so we encourage you to do it. There's actually more questions on there. It's a little bit more in depth to kind of engage the community a little bit more on, you know, who lives near it, you know, are you a resident? How often are you using the park? Things like that to give us a better understanding generally of how often it's being used, how it's being used, and things like that. So I would encourage you to please fill that survey out as well. Just because you're here, it doesn't mean you can't fill that one out. Same with the Zoom callers. The polling, though, on that online polling will end at the end of November. So please get in there and answer on those. We'll be, once that's done, we'll be compiling the numbers and getting the results of those to be able to help inform us on going forward with the design. So, and then again, we'll be developing those, you know, the early part of next year. We'll be doing some concept level, again, redesigns. We're going to have another workshop. Again, it'll probably be January, February. So please keep an eye out for that. We'll have exhibits for you guys to look at. There'll be more detail than what it was shown in the 2019. So.
I think probably for me, the biggest stickler is still going to be the park. And I know that currently there'll be cars parked there that they're working on months. Yeah. Months. And not towed.
No, you call the police all the time, they're out there changing their oil, they're out there doing all their work, and it's like, you get tired of calling the police.
It seems like they get, sometimes they get towed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they stay there too long. So, you know, it's gonna need more attention than that if we're gonna have more people.
Reggie, you know the Reggie, I thought it'd be a wolf until I saw it. No, it's there all.
And then right from this playground, who's you guys have?
Yes,
Is that your
no. This
Where's her house?
right here is,
Oh, that's right.
this is me. This is Ann's. This is Greg. And then right here is, mother and daughter.
Oh.
And they're the ones that are right here, and that's where all that bamboo is. Future bamboo.
Okay.
Is that in the park?
Are we good online?
Oh, yeah, well, about 30 years ago, a guy here planted bamboo, and it spread this way, and it's just invaded the entire park.
Hmm.
We've been fighting it now for. No, this is great, I'm so excited.
Yes.
Tell them
Yeah.
how to get it.
Yeah.
And
Ye-
then also the process.
Yeah, you want,
Oh, sure.
on the website.
Yeah, yeah.
I know where to go.
Yeah, so that QR code will get you to the survey. And we also have on the city website, we have a project page which has all of our current capital projects, and Sunflower Park is on there. So you can also look at that as we have new concepts, we'll be posting it there. Timeline updates, just project, you actually can ask questions through that as well, and we'll see those questions.
I have a quick question. You're talking about parking. Why is this not being utilized for this parking? And I don't know, I'm just asking. This is a spot here that is nothing, it's just dead space, there's an old eucalyptus, it's just dead space. Why isn't?
I'm gonna repeat
this
that.
doing parking?
I'm just gonna repeat it. I was gonna say, the
Okay.
question was asking why there isn't this, there's an area close to the street between the parking lot and East Cotati Avenue that's kind of old landscaped area that's not in the best shape, why that's not being used for parking.
Yeah, so we looked at the space between the sidewalk and the parking lot to re-landscape for sure. For parking, we'd have to look at it. I don't know that it's big enough to expand. I mean, you could obviously push the parking spaces closer to the street, but I don't know that it's gonna get you into new parking, But we could certainly look at it when we have a survey and actually have real dimensions.
I think I really do think there was a way that we would make it so. you can't have over. Because if people, I understand that people in the apartment complex, we understand this kind of stuff. But it doesn't work because they're using up all the spaces by the time people come in the daytime, they haven't left yet. And then they're lining up the side on some of those mornings. I think that, it should just be not overnight parking. And if the police would just come by for a couple of months, check overnight parking, it might take care of it.
Yeah,
It's just the locals that need to know this.
yeah, no overnight parking, I think would solve that issue, long-term.
And parking on the side, we've already measured that, see if that was okay, it's just,
Mhm.
people aren't there. Get in and out.
You mean the access drive into Sunflower?
For Sunflower Drive, yeah, we were
Yeah.
thinking at one time about putting some parking spots along there. But when they measured it, it was too narrow to have parking in and out driving.
Yeah, because you have to maintain fire access widths.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fire trucks can get in and out. Yeah. Okay, well, unless there's anything else, that's it right now. We're obviously always open to more discussion, but we will be doing, this is Ashley's contact, Ashley Wilson right there. You can always email her directly as well or call her if you have questions, but we're going to be, like I said, updating our project page, which is on the city website. If you look at projects in process, you'll find Sunflower Park there.
What's the timeline for this?
So we are planning to, this is the 2019 high-level concept. We're going to take the input that we received from this workshop as well as the online survey, incorporate that into a sort of it's a refined concept. Yeah, basically we'd say, okay, what do you all think about this? And if everyone, we get the consensus that this is the way to go, then we go right into design from that point. And then, in terms of construction, design would be, design would at least go through June, July, and then we'll have to see construction, but it either could be towards the end of 24 or maybe early 25.
I believe that we have to be done by the end of 25.
The grant.
Wait, because we received a grant and there's a requirement on when you have to be completed by, and I believe it's the end of 2025.
Yeah, a lot of it on our side is there's a lot of different capital projects going on. And so we're always managing, timing of the projects versus available funds. But Ashley's right. We do have we were lucky enough on this park specifically to get a $500,000 grant to improve it. Yeah, so Cotati Park, just to give you guys a frame of reference, Cotati Park was about $3.5 million. So it,
Is that downtown or is that that other one by Oliver's?
behind Oliver's is Cotati Park, yeah,
So great.
Yeah. yeah,
So great.
yeah. Yes, it was deserted and now it's always busy, which is great. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it, yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
You're the ones that are using it.
Well, thank you very much. I just, it's just a matter of, I'm here for my neighbors that live at the end that aren't here. They're like, please make good